Okay, to finish up our video series on using styles in Word and the auto-generated table of contents feature, let's just run through a few things about modifying and updating your table of contents, and finally some things to look out for if you make a sizable number of modifications to your table of contents. So let's begin by looking at some options available to you and some ways to modify your table of contents once you have inserted it. So let's take a look at this. You can set this up so that it has different levels. I mean, you could take out levels and stuff. There's all kinds of options that you can do. Actually, I'll give you an example. Say I want to get rid of third level headings here, and say I don't have time to go back and say it's just easier for me to change it right here, and don't have time to go through and change my settings. So I can just go through and highlight them, delete them, and change them quickly on the actual table. Okay. And let's say I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to insert a page break here. Okay, I'm inserting a couple page breaks. That's going to change the page numbering here. Okay, I'm going to update the page numbers only. Okay, see, it didn't put back in those things, but it did change all my page numbers. And that's the way it works. But if I go and update the table and update the entire table, see how they come back. Okay, that's the basic difference there. It also works if you go in here and change any part of this usability. Let's say I change usability to user-friendly. There's usability, you see that. I'm going to update table, and I'm going to update the whole table. See, criteria user-friendly. Okay, so basically this is an incredible help with last-minute revisions, and as I mentioned before, it really is an invaluable tool for you to use in your professional future. Okay, it looks like we're almost ready to wrap this one up. But before we do, I do want to leave you with a few words of caution about what might happen if you begin to make too many modifications to your table of contents in Word. Word begins to act a little bit funky. So if that happens, just keep an eye out for it. And I'll leave you with some advice that will hopefully help out with some of the most basic problems that you might run into when you begin to modify the table of contents in Word. To begin with, I would recommend if you do any major modifications to the table of contents, you probably want to check it every time you open up your document and before you go print it out, because Word does have a habit of scrambling the table of contents or changing it back to some previous state, or just coming up with some kind of absent data reading. And so just be aware that there are limits to how many modifications that you can make to the table of contents in Word before Word starts to act up. Word tends to be somewhat finicky, and I always like to say it has a mind of its own. But if for the majority of you, if you don't make too many changes, you're never going to have any problems with this. But if you need to make changes, don't hesitate to make them. Please make them, and then if you have issues, deal with them as they come up. Anyway, good luck with these. I'll probably see you in a video soon.